Hey guys, and welcome to my in-depth guide for my Crocodile deck list that I won the Store Champs with last Friday. Now, I went over a short video, so if you don't want me to ramble on for longer than 30 seconds, you can just watch that one, have a look at the list. However, if you want to learn how to pilot this deck and look at some of the choices and how you can build this deck for your own metagame and your own liking, then I would recommend that you keep on watching this vid. So without further ado, here is this guide and I hope you enjoy it. Alright guys, so here is my deck profile for Crocodile. So to start off with, I'm just going to be going through a lot of the staples and the rationale between why I think you should run these cards at all times. And then I'm going to be talking about some of the cards that actually have some flexibility and I just picked for my playstyle and for my metagame. So to start off with, we're going to have the bread and butter of every deck, which is going to be the 2000 counters. Obviously, when you're playing any deck, you want to have the ones that are the most playable, with Kaya actually being quite good if you're going first, versus some decks that are a little bit less aggressive, so you can fix your hand. For example, I versed a Nami at the Store Championships in round 2, and I started off with a Kaya in order to dig for the Sentomaru engine, and that actually ended up winning me the game quite comfortably. After this, Mihawk, very good 4-drop with a 2k counter. If you don't have any 4-drop to play, this guy is actually a threat and he'll allow you to cycle through your deck and set up some of your late game plays such as your Mihawks, your Doflamingos and your Love Mellows. Now after this, we're going to have the Doffy, the 3-drop blocker. Now this guy, he synergizes really well with Boa Hancock and Love Mellow. He allows you to know what you're doing in your next turns and set up your curve perfectly. So for example, what you can do with this guy, on 3, you drop him, on 5, you're dropping your Crocodile, on 7, you're dropping your Doffy, and on 9, you're dropping your Mihawk, and then you just end up with such a crazy field. He's also a 4k blocker, which means that decks such as Red actually need extra cards in order to interact with this one. For example, a lot of the effects are 3k plus, less than 3k, and this guy just chips in at 4k, so this is always a bonus. Next up, we're going to have the Pacifista and Sentomaru. Obviously, you're going to be running these together, and for my tech cards, I actually ran 4 Bartholomew Kuma. The reason for this is because when you're going second, what combination will come up a lot is that you'll have Kuma, Pacifista, and Sentomaru. Now, if you're playing something like Smoker or any deck with quite easy removal for the Sentomaru, you actually want to play the Kuma first, and then on your 6th Dawn play, you can play the Sentomaru and get the value. What this means is they might even think that you're baiting with this one, that you don't have a Pacifista in hand. However, as soon as this dies, you get the Pacifista back, and then you end up getting this out, which means that even though they've cleared this one, they still have 3 bodies that they need to clear, and all of them end up getting some really good chip damage, which I love. Next of all, this is why we are playing Croc. We're going to be playing 4 of the 3000 Worlds, never any less until OP4. This card just deals with so many problems. Perospero doesn't get its effect. Its trigger can bottom deck Perospero. That's insane to me. It can get rid of things like Borsellino, things like Bluno, and things like Marco, for example. So I actually think it's an excellent deck into some of an excellent card into some of these meta decks. Next of all, we have Sogeking. Sogeking is a hand fixer, a 1k counter, and a bounce. Now, if your opponent is playing Whitebeard, you want to be having all of these 6 cards in your deck, because as soon as they put down something like a Thatch, you want to be able to bounce it with either one of these cards. If you have both of these cards in your hand at the same time, that's completely fine. You simply just play the Doffy because it's a slightly bigger body and it can remove something that is slightly bigger as well. So running 4 of a card with counter is obviously quite fine in this circumstance. Next up, we have Love Mellow. The reason why I love 4 is because we're not playing Doffy. We don't actually care about a stack. So we just want to be using this whenever we can, mid to late game. It also allows us to survive the onslaught of red decks, simply because we want to be countering out of a lot of things. Our hand size will end up quite low, and then every turn you end up just leaving 2 Dawn open, or what you can even do is you can leave 4 Dawn open when you've played this guy, draw Love to draw Love, and then you just survive the kill turns really well. Last but not least, MVP of the deck, Mihawk, big boy, does really big removals. I actually won a game at another Store Champs where I was playing just vanilla as a Mihawk as a vanilla versus yellow, just so that I had enough gas to kill him in the late game. And yeah, I ended up winning that one, so it ended up pretty well. For the tech cards, we're going to be having Kuma, Crocodile, Law, and Boa. Now, all of these cards, apart from Law, actually end up having the counters on them, but in general, the Law is the only thing that we're going to be able to play early game. And it's actually quite nice if you're versing something like Whitebeard and you're going second, because their turn 2 play will often be just swinging 8 or 9k at you. It just trades with this, imagining that this is just a really, really big counter card. Another thing is that it screws up the math for Big Mom a ton, and Katakuri is one of our hardest matchups. So you can literally just go, oh wait, I'm gonna die next turn from a 12k swing. You play one little blocky boy, 1 Don, and he saves you. And it's just insane what this card can do. Crocodile, you can notice that there's nothing here that is 5 or 6. So this allows us to play on curve when we don't have a Sentomaru package set up. And then I did go over Kuma, so I'll just quickly go over Hancock. Hancock is a lovely play to play early and late game. It can be a blocker that replaces itself, or it can be a genuine threat which replaces itself when it attacks. And because it's the same life attack as your leader, it just ends up being a pseudo blocker even if you're using it as an attacker, because they know if they don't deal with this on the turn that it's played, or the turn after, then it's just going to keep on drawing cards, and it can be a real pain in the butt for the players. So recommendations for this list, if your metagame has a lot of red, I would really recommend running this list. However, I do think that it has struggles into green matchups that do run the 8 cost kit, as it has no removal for anything that is over 8. Now that just about wraps up my guide for the Croc deck profile. If you guys like this, make sure to thumbs up and make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And if you want to have a little bit of fun, escape the hell that is red mirrors and everything like this, I recommend giving this list a try. And yeah, that's about it for me. And I'll see you guys in the next video.